Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. There is a notifications bell down in the corner that will let you know as to when I go live, as well as links in the description. Hi, Hector. Hello. So today with Coffee with Manda, um, the last time I left it, I'd done a video. Hi, Anthony, about a day in the life, and my days vary. And that was the day that I chose to do that. Hi, Melissa. Um, and so I hope you enjoyed that. But I want to talk about some things that happened after that. So the next day, of course, after that day, I did some resting, cleaning house, all that. Um, did some community liaison work, and then we had on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Okay, my days might be a little screwed up. I apologize. We had our community liaisons kickoff, and I signed I'm an independent contractor for the City of Seattle Department of Neighborhoods, and I am a community liaison for the unhoused demographic. So I signed my contract for the next year. Yay. Um, so this has been um, years now that I've been doing this, and I'm really excited about it. I think that it's important for the vulnerable to have a voice, and I think it's important for liaisons to go out and make that bridge and let people know and go and get their voice, and then give that to the city and the various projects that are going on. Hi, Karen. So, one of the exciting things is too, I got business cards for that venture. It's kind of like I do have to be very careful though, as to, and I've been told this, is to what hats I'm putting on at different stages. So there is that. But I want to talk also about personal. Hi, Karen. Personal responsibility versus charity. And here's the thing, like, okay, I'm going to the kickoff, and I know that I had blankets, and I know I can carry about four. And all it took was literally going half an hour early, and instead of getting dropped off at City Hall, getting dropped off at the Central Library where I know that there's a high population. Um, oh, thank you, Mark Hill. Hi, CBT. Doing good. So I knew that, and it's just a few blocks, but I knew I would come into contact with people that were going to be cold and going to be outside. And here's the wonderful thing too, is I go out and I only could take four. That's, like I said, about all I could carry, and in heels and all of that. Um, but I went to the library, and immediately, there were two guys there, and hi, Kate. Hi, Markio. I'll answer everybody. I'll answer questions in a minute. Hey, Kate. Um, so I pulled the blankets out, and they were like, well, they were both like, they both needed them, but they were like, maybe, we could share what I was like, I'll give you each one. It's okay. And then I walked down, and, you know, I asked like three other people if they needed a blanket, and they're like, no, not for, I'm good on that, and walk down to the city hall, and I have two left, and I go to give them, and immediately there's this group of people, and they were like, who needs it most? Hey, 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 who needs the blanket the most? Who doesn't have, who only has one, and they're talking amongst themselves, and find, there were two people who were most in need, and they got the blankets. And I just thought that was really wonderful. But what I wanted to explain is that's not charity for me. That's not me being charitable. That's a personal responsibility and an investment into my community. For some reason, for many, many reasons, I'm not going to say for some reason, because then it feels like we don't know, because we so know. But in our society, I think that we sometimes forget that regardless of wealth status, this is still our community. And it's important knowing that I live in that community, that I can add to that community, that I can make that community better and safer and healthier, because being cold is definitely not healthy, cold and wet and probably hungry. So I view that as personal responsibility. And I think that when people think about charity, I remember when I was younger, um, you know, especially when I had TJ and Tyler, like I'm not I don't need charity. I can work it out, blah 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 blah. But I didn't realize that those systems are not charity. It's the responsibility that we have as a society towards those that need help. And those are meant to be help, getting up, being able to take care of your children, being able to take care of yourself, being able to, not die. like that's kind of the basics. So I'm going to answer some questions here. Markio, do I like my coffee sweet or less sugar? I like a teaspoon of sugar in my coffee. Each cup, teaspoon of sugar. I do like that. Thank you so much. Hi, Janet. Hi, Pasha. Is it already colder weather there where you live? Okay, here's the thing. It's really perspective because, but I do have to say, because I have what's called Raynaud's, and it's co-occurring with many of my illnesses, but it gives me an intolerance to cold. Cold hurts so badly, but I can get down to, as long as I stay warm, about 30 degrees is where it starts to get really insane for me. And so I know, though, I have friends that live in areas where it gets like 30, 40 degrees below zero, which I couldn't tolerate. So I think that now it's actually, it's, I would say for the most part, almost springy weather. Um, so it's nice. I can wear a nice jacket and I'm good, you know. Did I cut my hair? No, I did not. As a matter of fact, well, I trimmed the bangs a little bit because I'm really digging the bangs. Um, it's a thing right now, whatever. Um, but I'm actually trying to grow my hair out. I do a lot of stress cutting. Yeah. And I'm trying to kind of steer away from that a little bit and I'm working on right now personally recognizing sources of stress and being able to cope with those without um, going to extremes, such as like cutting a lot of hair off, or, I don't mind like the dyeing and stuff, but, just better ways to deal with, rather than changing my appearance in any way, better ways of dealing with the stress that comes, whether that be putting my efforts and redirecting my attention onto something else. That's important, is catching those thoughts and kind of saying, oh, I'm having this thought and it's coming, and redirecting that somewhere else. Rowan has chosen to lay under the sewing desk for this one. I called her over before it started and she kind of gave me a rolly the eye look and went under the desk on her rug. Um, okay. Hello, Amanda. Do you think you help a person in need in, say, Colorado? Found out just recently, tragically, a friend's husband lost his job. They're staying in a shelter in Denver. Anything you can recommend would be greatly appreciative. Okay, big slam. First, I'm going to, hold on. First and foremost, anybody who is looking at services, I want you to download this app. It's called Strapped. They If they're staying in a shelter, more than likely, and especially in Denver, they're really coming up with some good social systems and structures. And they got to give it to the marijuana industry. A lot of that money is funneled back into their communities. Um, I would say that if they're in a shelter, they have either a social worker or case manager that is working on getting them into what's called the coordinated entry system, because as soon as they enter the shelter, they'll be entered into the coordinated entry system. At this juncture, more than likely, it's a waiting game. So they're probably going to have to be there for a minute. But I would say, honestly, with a family, they are really by being in a place where there are services right there, that does put oneself in an advantage. The disadvantage is you have to stay in a shelter. And for a lot of us, that was a disadvantage. Like I much rather would have my space. Um, so I would say download that app. Everybody, it's location based. If you see that there are services in your area and they are not listed on there, please contact them and let them know. It's really important to have this amazing connection in our social services and our networks, and so everybody knows what's going on. It can just cut the time down that people are looking for things. What I would say, Big Slam, is definitely if if he lost his job, there are places that are tailored to being unhoused and seeking employment. If somebody is able bodied, like a lot of people have some significant disabilities, but if a person is able bodied and able to work, there are employment programs. If the person is ill, a lot of times through the hospitals, if you have a social worker, they can get you into what's called vocational rehab, and that's really awesome, and that could definitely be an option for the families. So I hope that helps. If I have my email somewhere, I don't think I put it in this description, but I believe, Big Slam, you might have my email address. Actually, let me just, for people who are wondering, please make sure that it is business related, such as dealing with the unhoused population and solutions. But I'm going to put my email address up here. Email me and we can look specifically at Denver at maybe some programs that the shelter doesn't know about or the case managers doesn't know about. CBT. Oh, hi, Lotus. CBT. How is my health and well-being? Okay, so there was like, okay, what I think there's a misunderstanding on is medications are really difficult because a lot of times there's a lot of factors in there that can get screwed up. It's not necessarily just personal, like I immediately, as soon as I realized my refills, right, I kind of put it off, but then I went to the doctor, got the refills and everything else. But then the pharmacy only put one prescription a bag. So when Derek went to pick it up, there was only the one, and I was missing my seizure medication. So there was kind of a screw up there, and it was like on all sides. But now it's all figured out. I am definitely feeling better. Started working on a new painting, which is wonderful. I would say that I feel like I just feel like there's some really amazing changes coming about. I think that um, as long as we stay this course and there's perseverance, we're going to make huge differences. And so I guess I'm feeling very hopeful in spite of a lot of information that sometimes tells me not to be. Um, I feel like the more I am out there, the more that I am doing, the more that I am working on making the world better. I'm also making myself better as a human being. And so it's like positive, positive. investments in my community, investments in what I'm doing, also are investments into my well-being. So I've been able to do that, and that's really exciting. I'm loving it. Um, I'm doing some really, really important research right now that we're going to have a big meeting about. So it's like exciting. um, the city is big and beautiful, first world. I'm going to live there. I love Seattle. I'm not even going to pull punches. I've lived in a lot of different places, and Seattle feels like home. I am, I, sorry. I do love my city. It's given me peace, and I think that's important. Um, do you sell your paintings and the proceeds go to the unhoused? No. A portion of the proceeds. On my photography sales and my painting sales, because I have to live. I mean, I think that that's I think that's a huge thing is I have to live, and I also want to make my life better and my quality of life better. So I can't give 100% of everything to, or I'll be right there. What I do is I give 20% of the sales of my photography and my paintings, and it gets split between different nonprofits that are working with displacement or people, animals in displacement, healthcare of the displaced. So I do 20%. That's really all, honestly, all that I can do in that aspect. But I also, as a displacement consultant, I make sure that we are working in tandem with each other and everybody gets to know everybody and what we're doing and make points of contact so that our framework is more secure. I make sure that I'm knowledgeable in not just with my lived experience, but also knowledgeable in current evidence and really without emotion what the data says. And I think that's really important. I love what I do. I also, not as much anymore, but I still distribute supplies when I can to the unhoused. I do donate my time and photography on Mondays to Seattle Dogs Homeless Program. So, what I do is I try to shape my life and my quality of life in investing in really humanitarian and environmental causes. And so I feel that by doing that, I'm also going to fulfill myself. And I truly, truly have like this hardcore belief that when I invest in positive ways, when I give back in positive ways, when I become a better human being, when I add to my world, that comes back in like big, huge ways. I believe that with all my heart. And so it's this wonderful um, way of being and feeling fulfilled in not only my personal life but in the greater scheme of things. Um, where is your friend who helps homeless? Um, I have thousands. No, I'm kidding. I don't have thousands of friends, but I do have. There are. I can't even name how many people are working to help the homeless. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of organizations and people, and it's insane. The issue is making sure that we're educating people about doing that, and really making those efforts ourselves to be better and do better. Um, Erin, hi, Erin. 2 months ago, I had my first grand mal seizure, and it was really scary, especially for my family. Seizures are scary, and what people don't understand is there's many, many different kinds of seizures, and and they are scary. It's an interruption in your capacity to function. And I think that we all want to believe that we have control over our behavior and our actions and all of that. And when a seizure interrupts that, it brings people very close and personal to what can happen just in that one organ. So it is upsetting, and I think it's upsetting on a level where just watching a loved one go through something like that is difficult. Um, so I hope you're getting good treatment, and I hope that your medical regimen starts to work. And I wish you the best, Lotus. I wish I had painting talent. Everybody can paint. Anybody can paint. If you paint what's in your heart and what you see, and someone will like it. Um, it's about just doing things. It's I don't know that there's so much of a talent as there is perspective, and everybody sees the world in these amazing, beautiful ways and in these unique ways. Um, Hi, Sheila. I love you so very much, and I just want to say I'm sending you the biggest hugs right now. Um, Markio, when I could do more videos walking around the city in their natural trips. Yep. It's, I love the nature around the city. And actually, very excited. One of the projects I'm working on as a community liaison is one for urban forestry and getting the input from citizens as to what we can do to protect, preserve, and enhance our urban forests in the city of Seattle. So that's really exciting. Um, Thank you, Erin. Do you think at the end of each day that you did the best of your ability just to put the smile on someone's displaced light, whether it's a person or family? Um, Most of the time. But it's for me, it isn't necessarily about smiles. Um, I think that there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that you're not going to get smiles out of that. And like, yesterday, I was out walking Rowan, and we have an RV. Well, it's like this mini bus, like these, the little shorter buses that are white with the big windows. It's one of those, and um, they park up here often. And I knew I had a couple blankets up here, and I saw that they had the door open and everything, and you know, I was like, I didn't know that there was more than one. So I came up immediately, I like poured a hot cup of coffee, grabbed a couple fruit cups. Thank you, Kate. And grabbed a couple blankets, ran them down out there, and was like, here you go. And they were like, it's not something to get like overtly excited, but it helps. And even if somebody can't say thank you, I know that I guess for me, it's not even just about displacement. It's about, did I help my world today? Did I do something, anything, to make a positive impact? Whether that be social media, whether that be conversation, whether that be an action, whatever that may be, did I make a positive impact on my world today? So that's really my reflection at the end of the day. And my reflections, a lot of times at the end of the day, have to do with gratitude and and understanding that I'm safe and that I'm going to be okay, and that life doesn't have to be never-ending trauma. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Erin. Sending love. Um, Very good. I'm almost speaking natural English. I'm already starting to answer without a caption. Awesome. That is really good. I will tell you, anybody who can speak more than one language, I, I just, I respect you. I respect the time and effort it takes to be able to do that, and to be able to be understood and be clear, I think is an amazing accomplishment, and one that I wish I had. Um, love you too, Sheila. You could be an English teacher. You speak words clearly. Not always. I have my moments, of course. I try. I try to say what's on my heart. I try to say what's on my mind. Laura accuses me of using big words, but we have come to the understanding that I will be her friend that uses big words, just nobody else can. I love her so much. uh, hey, Mike. You have such a big heart for your community. You know, I I think that our community is what shapes us. It's our our perception of the world around us can lend to our happiness. And so if I go out into my community and I see hopelessness and sorrow and anger and all of this, of course, I'm going to feel like my perception of the world is very different. And I think that when I go out and I see kindness and I really focus on what is happening around me, and the intricacies of being and the beautiful stuff out there, I think that that perception of the world uplifts me, you know. And so when I do things for my community, when I participate in my community in positive ways, I am truly, I believe, making my community and my world a better place. And so, whether that be for love of people, which I don't love people all the time. People suck a lot. I'm like straight out. They totally do. But I can make that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They can suck. I'm working on making things positive. So, and that directly benefits me. So, hi Megan, Erin. I completely agree. The greatest feeling is when we get from the heart. That's when he shines so bright. The thing is all I can do is try. I'm not perfect. You know, all we can do is just give our very best. And sometimes, honestly, all that I have is a phone where I can say, "Do you need help getting somewhere that can help you?" You know, sometimes it's just doing a little bit of research. Sometimes it's just social media activism. You know, let's see. Manda. Oh, and Sheila, I see your little comment. Not if I'm ranting, it turns into my own language. Yeah, I have an issue with that. I am a swearer. I am a cursy person, especially when I'm ranting. I'm not always like on point with language. um, so lots of love from Slovenia. Thank you for watching. Hi from Seattle. Um, Again, people do suck a lot. Present company excluded, right? Right. Um, thank you, Sheila. You've known me for a very, very long time. And I have to be honest that, and I'm going to do this without being emotional. You remind me that me being good isn't new. You keep me grounded in the fact that I never was a bad person. And I appreciate that. And it means the world to me. And especially coming from somebody that has seen me at my darkest times. Hmm. So, whew, pushing back the emotion. I'm good. So, Kate, do I feel safer than at other times in your life? Yes, yes, absolutely yes. Um, I have to say that the reason being for that is that I have not only focused on healing, but I'm in a stable situation. I'm not fearful all the time. It's funny because I was saying to several people that it was so strange because these last 2 years are the least amount of trauma that I've had. I mean, some very serious things have happened, you know, yeah, some very serious things happened, but it was the least amount of trauma that I've experienced in most of my life. And to go 2 years without being knocked on my face was really good. And I was pretty excited about that. So yeah, I absolutely feel much safer. And, having, you know, community support, being able to realize some goals in my life and realize that I have a voice and being able to use my voice is really important. Um, Sister Mama. Oh, I wish I could read Russian. Oh, it doesn't translate for me. I'm so sorry. I used to be able to a little bit. Oh, Megan, thank you. Sheila, don't cry. You know what I mean. It's our conversations, and sometimes I need to need that reminder when I forget. And you're an amazing person, and I don't know how many times that I'm just so thankful for you. Um, Megan, didn't know you as long as Sheila, but I didn't think you were ever a bad person either. Thank you, Megan. I love you. CBT. It's okay to swear when we're mad at the world or venting our frustrations. Absent. Sister Mama said, hello, everyone. Yay! Thank you for translating, Megan. Ah! Hello, Sister Mama. Um, it's funny because it was very strange because after my last brain injury, I would get frustrated and I would cut my brain would seize out, and all I could do was scream the F word, and I would like scream it over and over and over and over. And I didn't understand that actually until recently, that's actually, I didn't know what caused it. I didn't know what was going on, but I have realized that once I'm past a certain stress level, that yeah, it gets really bad, and I have a hard time. I can't control it, and that's where the problem is because I can there's a certain level to where medicate you can only be medicated to a certain point, and after you've hit past that stress level of where your meds are working, there's a little bit that tips up, and it's like, so yeah, I can definitely I have a mouth. um, the President Trump is in more sheets a woman will take away from the presidency. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest on this one. I think it's very clear to anyone who knows anything about me where my political views are. But I don't think that this is the vlog that I'm going to get into that. Yeah, I'm going to actually steer clear of that right now. Um, I have a very hard time even this is like a dystopian world. Like I can't even like fathom some of the insanity. So, um, wow, yeah. It's not funny. It isn't funny at all. It's really not funny. And I get to see it from a perspective of dealing with the people that are affected the most by this and that are hurting the most by this. And so it gets real personal real quick. So, anyhow, any other questions or anything? Conversation other than that? I'm going to wait for a few seconds. Oh. So, Sheila has now, and I want to say this is so exciting. Her and the family, which that is a large group of people, have started carrying blessing bags in their vehicles. And I think that's really freaking awesome. I think that is just so cool. And if you can do that, if you have the ability to do that, definitely do that. See you later, Markio. Um, and what that pretty much is, everybody kind of does it differently, but like some hygiene products, clean pair of socks, if you want to, a little bit of money or whatever, like food. Everybody does it like in their own way, but just like a little bit of comfort and something to say, I notice you. I know you're in need. And that's the thing is these things are, sometimes until we can get everybody on board with understanding that we can provide for basic human needs, giving hope for the next day is really important. And so don't discount anything that you can do to help. You know, um, CBT, anything planned for tonight? I have a very, very exciting night of streaming Netflix or music, painting, cleaning, maybe baking a little bit, and pretty much just processing the week. I have some surveys that I need to go over for my job, and it's a good day. It's a good day, and because I kind of do like a monthly wrap up too. And I find that this month has been extremely productive, and I see that only going bigger and better as things progress. So I'm really, really excited about that. Aaron, I suffered a stroke 20 years ago, and I understand how brain injury is the hardest to live with. It's invisible disability. Aloha from Hawaii. Look forward to your next video. Thank you, Aaron. Brain injuries are different. I mean, there's so many different parts of the brain, and they all do different things. And so, it's hard. It's really difficult because each one can be a little different. And just because one person with a brain injury doesn't mean that their symptoms or their issues are the same as the next person. And so but the thing that it always ends up with is lifelong difficulties. um, how are my blankets from the big yarn coming? I ended up making a rug out of it. I find that I'm definitely going to use a different product because there really wasn't enough there to make very much, and it's kind of expensive. And so I really just like, I it's not within my budget to be able to do that. Thank you, Erin, so much. Sending so much love out to you guys. Like seriously, positive support and love is so healing. It really is. And I'm going to say I wouldn't be able to do a fraction of the things I'm able to do now without that support. There are people that, donate, you know, not only, donate supplies, donate monetarily, donate transportation, donate more supplies, donate their time to listen to these very important, solutions and issues. Um, it's totally, yeah, it's just know that I'm sending so much love. This is a it takes a city, a village, a nation, a globe. It takes a world. And I am just all the time, I am in awe of how many people globally I have interactions with through here. Um, it sparks me to want to learn more about, countries and cultures and people. Um, it's connecting. It's knowing that no matter where you are in the world, kindness, love shines through. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Um, so, hi Terry. You caught me right at the end. Hello, CBT. It was great seeing you again. Catch you next live. Goodbye. You have a great day or night. I'm not sure what time it is for you. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up. And again, thank you so much, all of you. If you are interested in supporting monetarily or through donations, in the description link, there is all the links that you need. And I am just, this year's good, guys. This year's going to be good. I'm telling you. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night, day, afternoon, wherever you are. Talk to you later. Bye.